To anyone who grew up with the 6th generation of consoles, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk will immediately feel familiar with its arcadey gameplay, bright, colourful, cel-shaded Y2K-inspired art style, and its undeniably funky soundtrack. It's clear that this is a spiritual successor to the long-dormant Set Radio series from the 2000s, and as a huge fan of the series myself, I was immediately excited to see a game that could potentially continue on the series' legacy. However, I couldn't help but wonder, would this game wind up feeling like a tribute to the past? Or could it manage to build upon its influences and create something that feels fresh? Cyberfunk is set in the colourful cityscape of New Amsterdam, where local graffiti gangs will battle between each other across the city to claim their turf, while the police try to stamp out their culture altogether. The game opens up with a prison break where the player is taught the basics of how to play. However, after learning how to tag, blade and fight, it's revealed that you're playing as Foe, who is somewhat of a legend in the local scene, being one of the 3 most prolific writers. However, just before escaping, he ends up losing his head. But insistent on saving him, his rescuer Trice manages to find a new cyberhead for Foe's body. Awaking with no memories, Red decides to join Trice and his crew, Bomb Rush, and set out to get your head back by taking down the other crews across the city. The gameplay centers around using all the abilities at your disposal to explore the unique expansive cityscapes of New Amsterdam, where you're tasked with finding the graffiti of rival gangs and covering it with your own. Every time you do, you'll earn rep, and once you have enough, you'll be able to challenge a rival gang to a crew battle, where you'll battle to get the highest score in the time limit to win. Throughout the game, you'll be challenged by rival crew members to copy their combo lines, beat their score, race, or reach certain tags. All of these tasks help to teach you the game's mechanics. The act of exploring the city for tagging spots is really fun and satisfying, as the stages have an intricate design featuring a lot of verticality, so players will have to scan the environment to find the correct route to a tag. And the complexity of stages only increases as you progress into later areas of the game. The design of the levels is fantastic, as each of the areas feels unique, both visually and in the way that they're structured, such as the skytop city of Matan, or the industrial vertical climb of Pyramid Island. And surprisingly, there are also some really fun psychedelic-inspired sequences where Red explores his subconscious as he attempts to recover his memories. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk should immediately feel familiar to any fans of Set Radio, as Team Reptile has done a fantastic job creating a game that has a very similar feel, which focuses on not mashing buttons to get as many tricks in as possible, but maintaining your style and flow, with forgiving floaty air control and its accessible arcadey combo/trick system, which allows you to perform stylish combos and tricks as you navigate through environments. However, they have also successfully managed to build upon the foundation of Set Radio, as the player has a boost pack which will allow them to air dash, completely changing their direction and momentum, making them much easier to maneuver in the air. This, coupled with the floaty gravity of the game, makes platforming much more forgiving, as the player has lots of flexibility and control in the air. Also, it's now easier than ever to keep combos flowing, with manuals and slides, which as long as you're going downhill, will keep your balance and momentum. As there's no balance meter in the game, the player can grind without fear of falling. But to make grinding more active, the player can lean into corners, which becomes an incredibly important mechanic to build your combos, as it gives a speed boost as well as a score multiplier. The player can run on foot, where they can attack, wall run, and slide on the floor. Additionally, the player has another mode of transport, as you can choose one of 3, including rollerblading, skateboarding, and BMXing, which has the same mobility as on foot. However, now you can grind on rails and perform a different set of tricks. You can switch between riding and running at the press of a button to give you extra control for when you're platforming in extra high precarious spots. Combat also plays a large role in the game and feels just as fluid and stylish as performing tricks. Overall, the system is quite simplistic and generally doesn't require too much thought. However, there are a few enemies that you'll have to attack in specific ways. However, the police are intended to be an annoyance that I was happy to try and ignore while scouring the level for more tags. However, the police presence gets more intense as you attack them and tag more parts of the level, and it can lead to things becoming quite chaotic whilst you're trying to intricately platform. The world that's been created by Team Reptile feels incredibly fun and fresh, with so many unique characters and designs. Overall, the story is an enjoyable ride, which feels like a fresh take on street culture, with all the different areas and crews having a distinct identity mixed with a cyberpunk flair, resulting in a game that carries on the spirit of Jet Set Radio. However, Team Reptile were also able to build upon that foundation and make it their own, showcasing a really unique style and making the gameplay feel even more fluid. The animations look fantastic and the great soundtrack features an incredibly strong selection of songs, also featuring some new tracks from Hideki Nagamura. There are a lot of little touches throughout the game that make it feel stylish and unique, like its commitment to the raw early 2000s game aesthetic, and the menu being operated from the character's phone, and being able to have it open at any point whilst comboing throughout the stage. But this game definitely won't appeal to everyone. That's what makes it feel like such a breath of fresh air. The game has a clear vision, and I believe it achieves exactly what it set out to do, and I can't wait to see what's next for Team Reptile. Completing the main story for me took around 7.5 hours, and the game still has plenty to offer for completionists, with collectibles scattered throughout the levels, and also side quests to recruit new members to your crew. Overall, I would strongly recommend this game to anyone who's willing to try something different, and if you like arcadey retro style games, or are a veteran of Jet Set Radio, then this game is a must play for you. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is available on Nintendo Switch and PC through Steam and GOG, and will be launching later on PS4, PS5 and Xbox on September 1st. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this review. I quickly want to say thanks to Team Reptile for sending me a review code for this game, and I really enjoyed it overall, so if this looks like something you'd be interested in, I definitely recommend checking it out. I have other reviews available on the channel if you would like to check those out. I recently did one for Neon White, and I also do some long-form content called Complete History. And Complete History is a documentary-style series that goes into the development, release, and impact of games and consoles. And I'll leave some links to those on screen now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.